Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for being on time. The struggle was definitely real. I just seconds ago lost an AirPod. It went flying across the room. Couldn't click buttons. It's crazy. You guys know the drill. Please comment your city and state and let me know. Let's see. I'm getting messages from StreamYard. Let's see, working to fix it. Okay, cool. StreamYard's pretty cool. But comment your city state so I can shout you guys out. Lynette said, I'm ready. This is going to be good. I love that. So I can't shout everybody out, but at the very beginning, it's easy too. So if you want to get your hello, then go ahead and do that. Now I've got a bunch of people for today's show. Those of you guys watching on Instagram, please come over to YouTube. They take care of the creators there. I don't even try to hide that fact. And speaking of taking care of creators, if you guys are enjoying the content, please consider buying a super chat. It's very, very helpful. I guess I could take away the notification that the show is starting soon. Let's see. There we go. Y'all, I'm still getting used to this, okay? So let me see where you guys are watching from. And we got a Hartford, Connecticut. Oh, very nice. We got a Boston, Massachusetts. Where else? Dallas. Did I already say Dallas? The DMV. We got Bronx, New York. Nice. We got I'm assuming Sacramento, California. Baton Rouge, Louisiana. We got Connecticut in the house. Another Dallas. Hey. And Yancy. Is it Viran? Viran is watching from Pennsylvania. So thank you. Thank you to everybody. If you came over to YouTube from Instagram, please let me know that in the comments so I can thank you. The 6 of you watching on Instagram, head on over. Just type Chasing Yancy on YouTube. Let's check out those likes. It looks like right now, I haven't refreshed the screen, but it looks like we've got 1 like so far and 17 viewers. So we got to change those numbers, you guys. I need someone to snitch when the numbers are way off like that, okay? I just refreshed and there are 2. So yeah, you guys are just, you need to be reminded. That's all right? We got, Angelica said she came over from Instagram. Thank you so much. Let's see. We got Hinesville, Georgia, and Glinda came over from Instagram. Awesome. Okay, so here's the deal. If you like what you're watching, please smash that like button. If you have your chat on your cell phone, it's going to make you have to close the chat window. Then you can click the like, and then you can come right back. Nice. We're up to 7. And then you can come right back in and keep watching. It is super important because YouTube checks to see if people are liking the stuff. And if they are, it will push it out to more people. So please go ahead and do that. It's free. It takes 2 seconds to do that. If you haven't subscribed already, please go ahead and do so. Subscribe to my channel if you like this type of content and you like more dating and relationship advice. As I said, you can purchase a super chat. If you do, I will go ahead and shout you out no matter where we are in the show. Of course, unless someone's speaking, I'll let them finish. But that is super, super helpful. Okay, so a couple of announcements really quickly. Thursday night, we have a show for singles. Brand new. I just had 2 shows so far, and it was a lot of fun. We've had a guy and we had 2 ladies, and I'm hoping for more guys to come on there. But it happens Thursday nights. It starts at 8:30 Eastern. If you're Central Time, it's 7:30. And it's just a quick little interview and get to know a single. And this is a great way to meet new people and get yourself out there. And then I post it on YouTube, the replay. So make sure you watch the show and support it. A lot of people said they liked it. And if you want to be featured, just slide in my DM. I'll be doing that until it gets too out of control. And then I'll set up some formal thing on my website. But for now, just slide in my DM and say, I want to be featured as a single. And let's see, if you want to join. So right now I've got 6 people backstage. 1 who's having, we've been 7. 1's having some technical issues. But if you want to be invited to be on the panel, maybe you watch and you're like, oh, I have a lot to add to this conversation, or they're not even covering all the things that need to be covered. That's on you. Okay. So if you want to be invited, everyone who's on my email list gets an invite. Okay. If you guys are on my email list and you get an invite, say I did, I got one, something like that. Right. So they know I'm not lying. But if you want to subscribe to my email list, you'll get invited every week on Monday, the day before. So you have a whole day to get your little self together. You go to my Instagram, click the link in my bio, and at the very top, it says subscribe. So you can go ahead and do that. I think that is it for the church announcements. The three topics tonight is how does he know she's the one? The second topic is when her drive is higher than his. Oh, that's going to be juicy. And last but not least, women who don't prioritize their relationships until later in life. We'll talk about whether or not they regret putting it off until later. Okay, guys, are you ready for this show? You know what? Let's put people on blast. If you have hit the like button, comment done, like Angelica did, please comment done, and we can see who's holding out on their likes. Come on, y'all. Come on. I'm gonna be like my buddy on oh, not hardly initiated. Why am I blanking on his Trill AC? I don't know why I'm blanking on his show, but he'll wait until everybody hits the button. All right, we got another guest coming in the studio. Okay, guys, get ready backstage. I'm gonna bring you on. Oh, I forgot my. Hold on one second. Hang on. Y'all, I have someone who said that they are willing to help me with all my stuff behind the scenes. I appreciate that because y'all, it is hard. Okay. All right. So let's get the first topic going here. And we're going to bring our people. All right, y'all. Oh, good. Looks like Jeffrey, you got this stuff worked out. Very cool. Okay. It sounds like one person has a little bit of feedback.
Yeah, the one who unmuted.
It's either feedback or someone has something playing. All right, cool. Go ahead and kill that sound. All right, guys. So let's see here. As everybody smashed that like button. Welcome to everybody on the panel. Oh, who did I not get? Hold on. Oh, we lost. Oh, there's two. There's two layers. Y'all, I'm still learning this technology. There's a whole other layer below. I never had this many people at once. And so I didn't realize I hadn't added everybody. Okay. I think we only have one person. She knows who she is. When you're ready, come on camera, love, and I will bring you on. Hi, guys. Hello.
Hey. Good evening.
Hi. Thank you so much for your patience. I'm still learning all of this stuff, you guys. Oh, I know why it sounds weird. Hold on, guys. You're not in my ear for some reason. There we go. Sorry, we are having some technical difficulties. Okay, perfect. We got everybody saying that they like on YouTube. Can you guys hear that feedback too? I'm hearing like it almost sounds like construction.
That's somebody. I mean, so I would suggest everybody mute until we talk. You know what I mean?
Okay. Thank you. It's gone. So whoever it was, it's muted. So thank you. I thought I was tripping. So sounds like someone is vacuuming. Let's see. There is static. Okay, so you guys can hear. I thought I was tripping. You guys are so awesome. Thank you so much for y'all just letting me work this stuff out, and I'll be a little bootleg sometimes. Okay. All right. We got 16 likes and 27 viewers. We'll just pray for them. Okay. So hit that like button. All right. First conversation. How many of you guys actually, you know what? Let's do this first. You guys introduce yourselves. I always jump right in because I'm excited to get these topics. But let me know where you guys are watching from. You could be as specific or as vague as you want. I don't know, different privacy levels here. And if anyone is single, and they want to shout it from the rooftops, please don't let me stop you. And don't assume if they didn't say it that they're not single. Just assume they're private. Okay. Who wants to go first?
I can start out.
Okay.
What's up, everybody? Isaac from the DMV, Northern VA side. Single. Johnson and I go way back. So, hey, I'm glad to be
Very
here.
nice to have you. Thank you. So let's see. Who would like to introduce yourself next? He said, I am single. That's right. Make it plain.
I can go next since I'm the only female on the panel. It looks like I'm outnumbered. I'm Madeline. I'm in Dallas, and I'm single as well. So.
Dallas. Very nice to have you.
I'm Kobena, KB for short. Single Pringle. Mingling, maybe no, maybe yeah, but yeah.
Okay, very nice.
Area as well.
Okay, very cool. I'm gonna try play around with these layouts, you guys. So if you see things moving around, don't be scared. Okay. All right. Who else wants to introduce themselves?
I'm Greg from Boston, Massachusetts.
Perfect. I don't even know where to look. Wait, how do we lose Willie? Let's bring him back on. Okay, now I'm paranoid that there's someone I don't have. Okay, I think I have everybody. except the one who's not on camera yet. Okay. Anyone else want to introduce yourself and let us know where you're watching from?
They call me Prototype on these YouTube streets and social media. I host a podcast called our Prototype Kingdom Podcast. We talk about men's issues and family issues and raising kids as a father.
You're not allowed to plug.
I didn't know that, so I mean, but
you're gonna get folks in trouble. Yeah.
That's where I'm from, and yeah, I'm married, so I guess I'm the only one that'll be telling the truth up here since everybody else is single.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying? So we'll say it like that.
You caused an uproar in one of my clips that I post on YouTube. I mean on Instagram, y'all. He ain't scared. He's here for the smoke. He ain't scared. Anyone else want to introduce themselves? Sorry, y'all. I gotta be careful because you know everyone else. All right. Someone's audio is playing. You might want to have your earphones in.
Yeah, so can you hear me?
Or have it on mute. Let's get the. So there's I'm being replayed. So if someone has a device that's playing through their speakers, you're gonna want to have earphones or headphones like Kevin has. Otherwise, we're gonna hear what you're hearing through the speaker. All right. So who was just speaking? I'm sorry. It's hard for me to see.
Yeah, that was me, but Jeffrey. But I think I have a setup issue, so let me get that fixed.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I could hear you loud and clear, or I could just unfortunately hear myself loud and clear. Anyone else?
Is there an echo when I speak?
It's not you echoing. I can hear myself through your speakers.
I get it.
Yeah. So just some simple AirPods will fix. That's a quick fix if you don't have any other option. Did everyone get a chance? Willie, did you get a chance to say hi? I don't want to call you a troublemaker, but you'd be making waves.
I don't even know how, but I'm Willie. I'm in DC right now.
Because you be saying things other people don't say. That's all. You and Kevin, you're not afraid to stand on your opinions and say what you say. He said what he said.
Well, I mean, I will always support my opinions with facts. So I'm not, I don't just speak, argue opinions, but hey,
look, there it is.
We'll make it work.
Is that everyone? Brian, did you say, were you first?
No, I didn't. So
okay, I was gonna say I don't think I heard.
My name is Bryant. Currently single.
Okay, I am sorry. I'm looking at the screen. This is why I'm so thrown off, y'all. And please, this is only my third time at StreamYard. I cannot figure out for the life of me why everybody is not showing. Bryant, you are not on the screen. Let's see. Anybody who is versed with StreamYard, can you let me know if you know why everybody is not showing? Let's see.
It might be a layout. You might just switch the layout. There you go.
But it's only showing me the option if I have a graphic up. Y'all so bootleg.
And then you show 10 videos at one time.
Yeah, so we're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, we should be fine. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, we should be okay. All right, I'm just gonna have to have this layout because I don't know what is going on. I'm so sorry, y'all. I can't figure this out. That's probably the best we're gonna get. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, now we have everybody. Bryant, where are you? There you are. Okay, you're the third one. So now can everyone see themselves?
Yeah,
it's little.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know why before it wasn't showing some people. Okay. Well, we're gonna get started, y'all. I don't know how to make the screen because we got graphics and stuff coming later. But how many of you guys have ever been with somebody and you just knew off the bat? It didn't necessarily mean that you had to stick around, but did you ever have someone that just right away you were like, oh, this is somebody that I want to talk to?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What was your situation like for you? And by the way, is there any way, do you have background noise, Isaac? Is there any way to turn that down, or is that out of your control?
Do I have background noise?
Yeah, it sounds like almost like static. Like somebody said, it sounds like someone's vacuuming like 2 doors down type of a thing.
Really?
I don't know if there's, Yeah, I don't know if there's
I'll
a
change
way
my
to.
I'll change
Oh,
my
okay.
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 I would say that it happened to me twice. I only married just one of them. The very first time, like literally, when I met her about a week later, I took the black book and called every number in the black book. Said, "Look, get rid of my number," and I did it right in front of her. Um, and so I'm not going to tell you how that ended, but it actually ended because I tell you, it actually ended because she thought that I was at the time I was in the military, and
Okay.
I had to move to another duty station, and she felt that I wasn't going to come back for her, and that's the reason
Oh.
that our relationship ended. Never had any arguments, never had any type of fight. It was the most pleasant relationship that I ever had. So yeah, um, and that was the one that was the most defining for me, and probably not. And to be honest, even after I got married, to be very honest, 7 years into my marriage, I was always thinking about her.
Wow. Anyone? Thank you for sharing. By the way, welcome JJ. Welcome to the stage. I am trying frantically, you guys, to fix this uh, video situation. This is somebody said that this would look good. What do you guys think? Comment yes if you like this one. Comment other if you like it the other way. I wish there was a way to make it even bigger and less space on the screen, but for now, it looks like this is all we have. Jeffrey, it says it's trying to work on it. If you can't get headphones, if you can, then that'll be the quick fix.
How,
And it
how
looks
do I
like,
sound now, Yancy?
oh, it sounds much better. I don't hear myself.
All right, wonderful. Got it fixed.
Okay, good. All right, and we're halfway with the like, so this is good. Okay, y'all, we're gonna laugh about this, a year down the road when everything's all fancy schmancy, and I've got a whole team like, remember when it was all ghetto and she was trying to learn StreamYard while she was live? You're like, we were the originals, we were the OGs. All right, anybody else? So what made me think about this is because I did a post. I don't know if you guys saw it. You could say saw it in the comments. Okay, good. They're voting on this one. My guy knew day two. I was actually married previously, and he proposed within 3 months. My personal history and what I have seen, I had a guy on the first date say he wanted to be exclusive, but he gave me weird vibes, and so because he was pressuring, which I tell women all the time, there's a difference between love bombing and someone who really is just smitten, and the main difference is that they try to pressure you. And so that guy completely tried to use pressure tactics, and it was such a turnoff. But from what I have seen, most men don't take a long time to recognize a good thing. And so I wanted to hear what you guys had to say. Oh, so back to my point, I did a post saying that my guy, after talking for literally 24 hours, I mean, we weren't talking the whole time, but after meeting 24 hours later, he said, you're going to be my person. And so, of course, I had to take a while. So I was like, I can't be a dating coach and be like, yes, on day two. But no, for real, I did want to talk to him a little bit more. And then it was just kind of like, well, I can always undo it if I need to. And a week later, I was like, yeah. And 7 months in, we are extremely happy still. So I had to really trust my vetting skills and my years of dating and things like that. I don't recommend it for everybody. But just because doesn't necessarily need to act on it. We're not running down the aisle or anything like that. So has anyone else had an experience with that? Ladies, it could be that the guy told you right away. Guys, it could be that you felt it right away. Can you raise your hands, guys, on the panel? Isaac just shared, but have any of you guys met a woman and it was like this, like it wasn't looks, it was just, you knew there was something different about her? Can you raise your hand if you guys have felt that? Because I've heard other guys describe it that way, where they couldn't.
Why you exclude the looks?
Because there are plenty of women who are beautiful. And that's what I'm going off of what Guy said. Like it's different than looks. Like they'll see their looks and their looks are like, oh, but there's something outside of it where it's just like her essence, her aura. There's just something there's something different about this woman. Because there are tons of pretty women, but unless you're saying that it's the looks thing that for someone that makes them go, she's the one. But anyway, don't everyone speak at once.
I mean, there's really not tons of pretty women. Like to be honest, like attractive people are rare. Like, you know what I mean? If you look at it, if you go any place where there's a whole bunch of people, you don't see a bunch of attractive people. You know what I mean? On top of that, I think looks plays a majority of the part, because we have this idea of what our wife would look like. You know what I mean? For me, it's the girl that's going to look good at the Christmas party. You know what I'm saying? So that's a particular style look. You know what I mean? So any woman that kind of fits that mold, you know what I'm saying, she could clearly be the one for me. You know what I'm saying? So I call it like we place you before we know we're gonna do with you before we even get there. You know what I'm saying? So like we'll say to each other, "Oh, that's a wifey right there," or "I'll hit it and that'll be it," or you're already placed before we even approach you. You know what I'm saying? So you have that number, and it's up to you to either lose it or gain on it. You know what I mean? So that's kind of how it is.
Okay, guys, he said what he said, and he said a lot. So what are your thoughts? Those of you watching on Instagram, you gotta come on YouTube so you can hear what's being said. So come on over to YouTube, and you guys can hear my wonderful panel. But yes, guys, what is your? Are we all co-signing what he's saying? Is Kevin? Everyone agreeing with him? Do you guys have different thoughts?
No.
Just one word. No.
I knew he was going to
my
disagree.
fan. Y'all have me dying already. Oh, go ahead, y'all. Y'all are quiet tonight. Goodness gracious.
Hey, this is Jeffrey. I'll jump in here. He made some really, really good points. I'll just offer additional points. One point of disagreement is that there are tons of attractive women out here that are just, I mean, I don't want to say it's low hanging fruit because that could be disparaging. I will say that it's very easy to go anywhere in Atlanta and just run into attractive woman after attractive woman after attractive woman after attractive woman.
That's
And
Atlanta.
well, hear my point. I'm not talking about a woman that's just attractive and superficial. I'm talking about a woman that has depth and gravitas to her. In addition to that, I travel extensively. I travel for work. I'm not even home now. Every state that I go to, every city that I go to, you just have to know where to go to find the women that are on the level you're looking for. They're not everywhere. I'll give you that point. Once you find where to go, you will see that they are in those spots in abundance. So that's an area I disagree with. Where I do agree with him is that we do place you in a category, and it's up to you to stay in that category or work your way out of it. The thing that I believe some women take lightly about men is how quick we are to make a decision and how accurate we are when we place you. Women, you think that we're not thinkers. I'll submit to you respectfully that we think on a level that very few women study to understand. You study to manipulate, but you don't study to understand. So I kind of agree with him on those points.
Oh, he says study to manipulate, but not study to understand. I feel like that was like a little moment. Okay.
Hey, I definitely have to agree with that. I don't ever look at. I always say this: looks only get you to the doorbell. That's all. That's all that the looks do. Looks only get you to push the doorbell. It's your mind. It's your character. It's the depth of you that will get you further. Um, and I agree with. I did not catch his name, but I definitely agree. If you want something better, then change the environment that you are looking. And then even sometimes, even when you change your environment, the vetting process is I definitely has it. And Jan said, and you said that earlier, that you have to make sure that your vetting process is on point because sometimes people can really present to you what they want you to see, but then behind the scenes is somebody that's completely different.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that where I disagree with, I think almost all of this is where you said that men put women in categories. I don't think that men put all women in categories. I think that men put attractive women in categories. Because anytime a man sees an attractive woman, the first thing we think about is with what's below our waist, because that's what gets our attention. And then we have to figure out, and what else can we do with this lady? If I look at someone and I'm like, okay, she's really pretty, clearly I'm attracted to her physically, but now I have to ask myself, like, okay, and what else can I do? And I think that if women did that, they found out, attractive women, if they did that when they met men and they asked men, or ask themselves like, hey, he wants to date me and I know he wants to sleep with me, but what else is he willing to do? I think that dating would be a lot more straightforward. And then I would never tell someone to go to Atlanta or use Atlanta as like an example for dating, because everyone in Atlanta looks good, but then that might not even be a woman. So that's you have to be careful in Atlanta. And then two, a lot of that stuff is not going to be there when they
Oh
wake up in the
wow.
morning. So if we Atlanta, no, Dallas, okay, Houston, but I would never suggest any single man go to Atlanta looking for love.
So, Yancey, so I think one of the brothers said something that I agree with, where it's like, most of the time it's like looks get you the interview, right? We're not going to go out with a woman we're not attracted to, right?
Right.
And if
right.
we deal with a woman that we're not attracted to, we're probably just trying to hit it. But as far as a woman that, for me personally, knowing if she's the one, it's beyond looks, right? It's a lot about personality, right? It's something about her that's different. And for me, what I noticed that's different about these women that I gravitate towards is that they have a natural understanding to men, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're witty, they have a great sense of humor, they know how to cater to the ego, they do it instantly. Yeah. And then you feel like you can't get enough of them, right? And a lot of the times, especially in this online dating era, a lot of times it could be through you're seeing them video camera. You might not have even met them in person yet, but they just have such a great conversation. You're just like, yo, I can't wait to see what you're about. So, and I feel for me, like if I'm hesitating with a woman, it's because I don't see those things. And I'm just waiting to see if they're going to pop up in the future before I decide if she's the one.
Okay. I appreciate that. Y'all, this is really bugging me that I can't move this down. There's all that space and everything shoved up to the top. So y'all bear with me, okay? I'm trying to deal with this. I have a question. Okay, so somebody was very adamant on one of the posts that I did, and they're like, there's no set time, which nobody said there was a time. But I always like to say, I can't say necessarily what it is, but I can say what it isn't. For me, in my experience and having interviewed tons of men and listened to other people's stories, I have yet to see a guy who needs 6 months to know if someone is going to be his girlfriend. Would you guys, do you agree that it does not take, can we agree on 6 months that it does not take 6 months to know if you want someone as your girlfriend? If you raise your hand if you agree. And then I'm going to ask after if you disagree. Okay, you agree it doesn't take 6 months. All right, 2 people said it does. 3 people said
that's
it. 4
for women
people.
too, though. Women are like, we know.
We know soon, right? Okay, so those who disagree, raise your hand. That it can take more than 6 months to know if you want someone as your girlfriend. Okay, so the 2 of you, Jeffrey and Byron, the 2 of you who, or Bryant, excuse me, 2 of you who said, what is happening during those 6 months that you don't know? Are you talking to her regularly, or I'm not trying to be funny? Like, what is happening that's taking longer than 6 months?
I think they're waiting to have sex.
The women or the guys?
The guys. I can't see a man thinking it takes 6 months to make you his girlfriend.
Oh, you're saying waiting to make a decision until after they've knocked the boots.
Yeah, because I mean, if that's what a lot of women want to be, in a relationship before they sleep with a man. So for a man to take 6 months, it's because they're not.
Well, let's ask them right here.
Or it's because we placed her in that bucket of you can't be my girlfriend, and she has to earn her way to a spot. Like I said in the beginning.
Let's break it down, Jeffrey, Bryant.
So I can explain for me personally, when it's taking that long, it's because she didn't draw me to her right away, but there were certain things about her that I wanted to stick around and see if she's worth it. It wasn't that instant, like I want to get with her. I saw some things that made me say, I'm not ready to get rid of her, discard her yet. Right. So, yeah, it's really more, to be honest, she wasn't my first choice, but it seems like I grew to like her because there's people you can grow to like. That's just the honest truth.
This is why I like you, because honesty gets us really, really far. And the reason why that is a statement that is true for him, and I'm going to say this, the reason why it's difficult to have these types of conversations on a public platform is because it does not put him in the best light, right? Because he's looking at it from his perspective, like no woman wants to think I'm not the first pick. But it helps us because this is the truth. So a huge salute to you. Y'all put salute in the comments, please. for speaking his truth, because this is how we can learn. Now, I'm going to share my take and my response when I hear that as a dating coach who is advocating for my client, okay, who would be a woman. What I would say is there's the potential that possibly this could turn into something if Bryant is not a bad guy and blah, 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 blah. So I would never say this guy sounds horrible. Ooh, red flags, throw him away, block him. I would never say that. But I would say, do not put all your eggs in one basket. Do not fall in love with this guy. Do not be all in, because what happens is if he's on the fence, one, you're not guaranteed that he's ever going to put you in that first place position. And two, if he ever does, and it's a settle, he's not going to love and cherish you the way he would if you did blow him away. So I don't think that, he should necessarily in that position be villainized for, continuing, as long as he's not saying that he's somewhere other than he is. But this is why I say to women, if it takes him that long, he's just not that into you. I'll let you respond in a second if you have something, but I wanted to hear what you had to say. Brain, why is my brain going away? Jeffrey, I'm like, I've known you since the beginning of time. I don't know what, it's because my little, you're not at the bottom for some reason. I don't know why. Oh, there you are. Okay. I was looking at one spot and then it threw me off. So what are your thoughts? Why is it taking more than 6 months?
Well, it took me longer than 6 months because I recognize how smooth women are with it. Don't get it twisted, women. You are some of the smartest, most cunning hunters on the planet. When you set your mind at something, you can put a facade up that will blow any type of grand illusion away until you get what you want. So what I've learned to be very, very patient and just watch how that woman handles the responsibility of being courted, pursued, or on the same road as me. Some women fumble the bag because they get anxious. Some women fumble the bag because there's a certain pressure that comes with dating a man who has high self-esteem. So I submit respectfully that anytime I've dated a woman, I've not rushed anything. I waited at least 4 to 6 months before I pulled the trigger on anything committed wise.
Okay, so can I play devil's advocate with you?
Sure.
So what would you say to the woman who says, I have been consistent? I'm just throwing 3 months out here because it's an average, but obviously there's not a rocket science to it. Let's just say the woman, she is highly wanted. She has multiple men who are after her. She definitely feels a vibe with you, but she feels like this guy is wasting my time. It doesn't take 6 months to recognize sunshine. I have been consistent day in, day out. Whose loss would you say it would be if she decided to walk at, let's say, month 4? Because she's like, I'm tired of putting all my eggs in one basket. I'm going to start checking, seeing what this guy has to offer. And she starts to see somebody else. You notice she's less present. She's not answering the phone as quickly. She's not as available. And now you fall back. Who is losing in that scenario, in your opinion?
Nobody, because she decided what was best for her, and my timeline is my timeline, and I dictate the terms of my timeline. So if my timeline didn't mesh with hers and she said, you know what, I'm out, I don't hold any grudges, no ill will. Hey, it just didn't work. I enjoyed the time we had together. It was a great experience, and I'm letting it go. But I don't get moved off my timeline because someone else has another vision of time. My timeline is what it is, and that's just it. So nobody loses. We both win because we had a good time together.
I really like that answer. Sorry, there's a little feedback with someone. I like that answer because I tell women that you have to have a timeline for yourself. I have a timeline with my guy as much as I like him. I'm not about to be someone's girlfriend for 6 years, 7 years, whatever. And so, and he and I have had this conversation, and I said, it's not about, we were talking about the difference between an ultimatum and, a timeline. And I said, the ultimatum is telling someone they have to do something. A timeline is, I'm going to do what I'm going to do no matter what. Like Jeffrey said, like if you have to go, that's not putting pressure on me. Like you're gonna leave. And so for women, I recommend strongly that if there is a time point that they feel they've put in enough time to, for somebody to choose and he doesn't choose, be okay moving on, but you do not pressure that man. If you are in a relationship and you feel, let's just say a year is enough time and he hasn't proposed, you don't start hinting, you don't start asking, you move on. I would recommend at the beginning stages, though, when you are talking to a person and you are getting to know them, make sure you're on the same page as far as dating in general. And I would get a general idea, like how long would you say you'd want? Like for me, I would want at least a year to get to know someone. So the guy doesn't think, oh gosh, she just doesn't want to be with me. No, with anybody, I'd want to have at least a year. And then, the woman could share hers. Did you want to respond, Bryant, to what I was saying before I let anyone else go?
No.
Okay.
I asked I didn't know his name. Was his name Greg, or who was the guy that just got off the panel?
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I don't know why when you put the title up, it takes the names away. So I think it was Jeffrey who was just speaking.
How tall is he? I have a theory about why he answered the way he did, but how tall?
I cannot. I don't know. Oh, I just realized he got booted off because he's having technical issues. This is bugging me that this thing is going across the top.
Your overlay to temporary.
Yeah, no, it was just annoying because I can't have everything. Y'all, I'm telling you, Zoom was ghetto in the sense that it took me forever to be able to do things, but at least I could 100% customize it. StreamYard, I am not giving you 10 stars. That was very disappointing. So he's here, but he can't hear, or he can't communicate right now because I don't know why he's having technical issues. All right. So anyone else, and those of you in the audience, any thoughts that you have? Let me look at some of these comments. My apologies. Thank you, Willie, for asking everyone to like and share. Let's see. It's unfair. Glenda says, oh, I forgot I could put these up. Glenda says it's unfair to keep someone around waiting unless you're disclosing that she's not your first choice. Ooh, so Bryant, would you ever tell her she's not your? I don't know. How would you even say that?
No.
Yeah, I was like,
no. Do we go around saying mean things to people for what? Like, no need to do that. I mean, like, it's at the end of the day, I feel like we're adults, and like, if it drags on too long, and if she says something, she has a problem, and she asks us, then she's going to get that disclosure. It won't be, hey, she's not my first choice. Think of it like this. It's like you like somebody, but it's like you don't know because you don't see all of the things that give you that instant chemistry that you're like, I want to pursue this. It's a slow burn, right? Some people are a slow burn. They get better with time. Some people are instantaneously from the beginning. It's like y'all want. Yeah. So, that's really what it comes down to. Like, because if she wasn't an option at all, like, we wouldn't be dragging this out. Like, she know from the jump, like, I'm not interested. But I am interested. Just don't know if we're going to go to the next level.
Okay, that's fair.
But isn't that sort of like a double standard from the women? Because we know that women do that too. They may not say it, but they do it. And so I have to agree. I dated someone for 3 years, and after we got married, it seemed like that the veil fell, that the wolf came out of the sheep clothing.
No red flags.
When I say master manipulator, in 3 years never showed anything was perfect for 3 straight years. 3 straight years. And I know that some people are like, well, how do you not see it? When I say that the person had this even skill and even improved every single year, it was unbelievable. So just like I forget that somebody said that a woman is very cunning, and if she wants to present something and she wants to perfect doing that, she can perfect doing it. I'm saying it from personal experience. 3 years of dealing with someone, never ever had an issue. All of a sudden the veil fell and the wolf came out. And I was like, who are you? Like, those are my exact words, is who are you? Because I don't know this person.
I had a male client who described almost verbatim the same thing. And I have no reason to not believe either of you. So let me just put that out there. I have yet to see someone be that good. Now, I don't date women. That's why I give a disclaimer. I don't date women. So I cannot speak to the level of, ability to hide. But for me, I feel like there have to be, my brain says there have to be little signs. I totally hear you. No proof to say that you're not saying anything other than truth. For me, it makes me wonder, like, I wonder if I could have seen something, because it just seems like that's so, they even say like actual psychopaths are the only ones that can go longer than 30 days, like around 30 days. A lot of people can fool you, but it's, criminals, like deep mastermind. It's hard to keep a cover on, especially to live with someone. So that's
yes. So I can say this: the first year we dated long distance. The first year, then I decided to relocate to where she was because the job environment it was much better. So professionally, it was much better environment. But due to how I worked and due to how she worked, it was able to be done without ever trying to actually hide it. So there's a way that she manipulated it due to my work hours and the job that I had during that time period. So she was able to manipulate it to her advantage, so that when I did come around, nothing was out of place, and you never ever would have thought.
I have to take just a quick moment. We have our first ever super chat for the show. Can we give a round of applause, everyone on the panel? Woohoo! For Lynette. Thank you so much, Lynette. I love that. Was that you, Kevin? I love that. I gotta learn your ways, man. Thank you. That was amazing. I was like, that was a really solid applause, you guys. High five, Kevin. Thank you, Lynette. I really, really, really appreciate that. I do. Thank you so much. It really helps a lot. So there were a couple of things. Let's see. Hang on. There was something said. Oh, Tasha said 4 to 6 months gives you more time to know someone. Everyone is on their best behavior in the first 3. So those of you who are watching, type in the comments how many months minimum you would want. Y'all, my goodness, thank you, Willie.
I definitely agree with Tasha. You're big, Willie.
Is she really crying?
Hold on for that. He need this. Dropping bombs like that.
Baby, we gonna eat dinner. My daughter's getting new shoes. No, I'm just playing. Thank you, friend. I appreciate that. He's been in the trenches since day one, y'all. For real, y'all. I'm trying not to embarrass him, but he has sponsored behind the scenes more women for coaching and classes and things like that. So I will always defend him when y'all be going crazy on him on Instagram. Thank you. Thank you very much. Lost my whole train of thought. Y'all, I'm light skinned, so you can see what I blush. Okay.
So can I add something?
Yes, because I'm stuttering.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So to add on to what you were saying, I think another reason why guys tend to take 6 months or longer to decide if a woman is, girlfriend material is because of a few things. A lot of us haven't gotten over our past relationships, and we're still dealing with that. And a lot of us, especially in this
sound effect on that. Sorry.
Day and age, social media day and age, a lot of us are dealing with distractions. Dating apps, there's that fear of missing out.
Come on.
You match with someone, they look good, they sound good, everything's going good. Then you end up matching with someone that you liked like a week ago, and they finally got to you, and you're like, oh well, I want to see what's up with this person. I don't want to miss out on this. So there's a lot of distractions in that case. But if we're talking about someone that you're kind of speaking to, giving the most energy to, and it taking like 4 months, 5 months, 6 months to decide, I do believe that to some extent, guys generally know, like, yeah, is this person worth all my
Right.
attention, all my energy? Can I see this person being my girlfriend? That's what it was kind of like for me. I came out of a somewhat toxic relationship. Then I dealt with a rebound situation for a while. And then I started dealing with somebody else. And it took me a while to come around and actually let go of any preconceived notions that I had and resentment that I might have held, and waiting for the shoe to drop off the, what's the saying? Waiting for the other shoe to
Other
drop,
should have, yeah.
that kind of thing. So it took me a while to finally come around and say, okay, you know what? I think I want to take this person seriously, exclusively, and everything. So
no, I love that you said that. Sorry, I'll try to make this quick. I love that you said that because somebody was shocked at how quickly my guy and I were able to bond. And the thing is that, and same thing, when I got married when I was 23, we didn't do all of the traditional dating, like the going out and doing all this stuff. Obviously, with my guy, it was long distance. But in my first situation, it was just being super intentional. We knew we had a lifetime to do all the romancing and razzle dazzle and all that stuff. We just really wanted to put our heads together and understand each other. And so I just was not the version of myself that was ready for marriage. So I'll give that. But asking all of the questions did all of the right things. And so in my situation now, we weren't sitting there on the phone just flirting and giggling and listening to each other breathe. We were getting into deep stuff. Why did your marriage end? What is your situation with your kids? What are your goals for the future? What's your relationship like with the Lord? What would a typical day be like? We were having deep conversations. And so I think that when you're having these fluffy, hey girl, your booty looks good in that dress, oh, let's go out and grab a bite and catch a movie, you could stretch out what we did in a week to like 4 weeks, 5 weeks easily, because a lot of people are not having deep conversations. I remember talking to one guy and he was like, I feel like I'm talking to a therapist. And I was like, because somebody's having a deep conversation and we're not talking about your favorite color. Like some people, that's where they want to be. They want to be in the shallow end of the conversation pool. What were you going to say? I know I cut you off.
Yeah, so I wanted to add one thing, Yancy, right? So, like, just because something is a slow burn doesn't mean it's not going to end up being a long or great relationship. Just because something starts fast doesn't mean it's going to last forever. So, I can vet a woman and we can be dating for like 5-6 months before we get into a relationship, and it could be one of the best relationships I ever had, as opposed to a woman that I have that instant chemistry with, get with her after a month in 3 to 4 months. So I don't want that to be a determinant factor. Because it took him 1 month to commit versus 5 or 6 months to commit, that it's going to be a better relationship. Like, you can't measure it by that. It's basically once you get into the relationship.
No, I definitely agree that you can start out quick and burn out quick, and you can start out slow. I asked a million questions and then moved on. So I think only 2 of you got a chance to answer it. You guys drop your months. How many months do you feel you need to be able to say, oh yeah, we go together?
So I wanted to add to that. I'm sorry.
Yes, please.
So personally, I had a personal experience, and I think a lot of the things the gentleman and the panel has actually discussed is quite valid. For me, I think environment is actually quite key. I think the last gentleman did talk about social media, and I don't think that gives us a structured environment to really fill people out. From my own personal experience, it didn't necessarily take 4 to 6 months, but it was still a period of kind of phasing out. We're trying to really fill the person out. But I think initial interaction is quite important. I think to the question, to know she's the one, you got to have a sense of self and kind of know yourself as well. For my case, it was just a weird example. She just simply asked, or actually monitored me where I work. We worked in the same corporate space, and I was washing my dishes with, I think, hand wash as compared to dishwash. She just watched me through the whole 9, washed, cleaned it, dried it, and she just poked her head in there. She was like, I think this is actually, hand wash. You don't want to use dishwash. And for me, I'm very detail oriented. I'm like, we're in a corporate space. I'm stressed dealing with all these claims. Like, for you to actually have that sense of level of detail is quite remarkable. So I kind of put that in the back of my head, and I didn't necessarily pursue, like the gentleman said, not necessarily categorize, but that level of detail is quite key to me. So ever since then, he gave the nice head nod, and I kind of had a sense, just everything. Like, I think it's Jeffrey. He stated you could go off fast and crash and burn, or you could start slow, feel the progress, and then you could actually much more of an affirmative decision as compared to just going with the aura or the vibes that you feel. So I think ultimately social media and the environment is quite key. And I think physical environment is kind of like dissuaded in our dating scheme now. So
Okay. I'm going to ask this question based on what you guys have been sharing. How many of you, by a show of hands, have felt instant attraction? You felt a compatibility as far as personality and took longer than 3 months to become exclusive? 3 of you. Okay. Interesting. All right. So size, I love that. That's my girl. She said 53 are watching, only 36 likes. Yes, come on, guys. Come on. If you're liking the show, now I could see the numbers were jumping and jumping. People are popping in, popping out. Y'all been staying. Y'all been hanging out. You got your little popcorn, your Kool-Aid with the extra sugar. That means that you like it. So if you like it, let YouTube know you like it and hit that like button, please. Okay. Comment like if you have liked the show. And again, shout out to the 2 who got the super chats. Thank you so much to Willie, and thank you to Lynette. You are awesome. You guys are amazing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, we are gonna. Oh, we're up to 43. Thank you, sis. That's right. Snitch on them, y'all. Let me know if we are more than 10 off. Snitch on them. Tasha hit the like. Lakeisha hit the like. Crystal hit the like. I feel like that's on. Shaniqua. Who else hit the like? Let's get a couple more. We only got 3 of y'all with the like button. I gotta start being. Yes.
Hi. So hi
she
everyone.
Speaks.
I know. Sorry, my internet has been wonky, but my official introduction. Worries. Hi everyone. My name's JJ. I'm in Iowa City, Iowa.
Welcome.
But yeah, I was just wondering if this part of the discussion was just for the men, or if we had any thoughts we could share.
No, yes, absolutely. And it's funny because I was just going to put that in the chat. Absolutely. And just for the rest of the show too, anytime, unless it starts to get crazy and people are talking, we only had one episode like that where people were just kind of, I think Willie experienced that. People were kind of talking over each other. For the most part, people are pretty good. So jump in if you have something. And if there's a little bit of a collision, then I'll tell someone to go first. But for the most part, I think you guys would be good with that. So yes, share what you would like to share. And then we're going to go on to the next topic if nobody has anything juicy to add after that.
I mean, I'm sorry.
Oh, I think,
it's weird.
Was she going to say something? Sorry, Kevin or Willie, were you going to say something, JJ, on the topic?
Yeah, I was just thinking about the duration or like timing with dating, or when like men or women are talking. Yeah. And like in terms of the 3-month sort of rule, it's sort of hit or miss just because people can be on their best behavior. And now I think there's enough people that are familiar with waiting 3 months where it's like predators or vultures could sneak in, either men or women. Where it's just like, let me just wait this out. And when the person gets comfortable, okay. And then also there's some deep thinkers and deep talkers. So they might embrace the conversation around like the necessary things to determine compatibility. They might like to talk about spirituality. They might like to talk about sort of looming plans or goals with like their career or what they're doing, and try to say things that may match up with what you say. And yeah, I think it's kind of, it can be easy to feel chemistry in that way or compatibility when it comes to like beliefs or value systems and what we do and don't like. But at the same time, it's like nothing replaces the test of time. Like you can have these deep, thoughtful conversations conversations about family and money and
Right.
childhood background and, you know, be friends. And still like several months in, when the rubber hits the road, like the person may not be willing or on either side to deal with the conflict or deal with disagreement or deal with just long term anymore if they're used to novelty and just coming in you know, for a few months and the
Right.
curiosity or playing the chase. So it's like even the conversations are important in determining compatibility, but also can this
Nothing
person
like
handle
time.
just the day-to-day life, the
Right.
boring, the awkward, the we don't have anything to say and we're just in each other's presence. And when we're apart and we have our own lives and we're in agreement about what those are and the times that we spend. And yeah, just I think all the in between to that, not just the conversation or compatibility or chemistry bit, because there are times where you won't have that, or like that's still not enough. I mean, because I'm sure we've all met people that we have chemistry with on various levels, whether as friends or, you know, in relationships or whatever, even in family. But it doesn't change the fact, like, how will we deal with conflict? Can we still get through 6 months to a year and like be willing to plan together and you commit to each other and wake up and choose to, you know, still deal with each other? And yeah, time tells that regardless of the conversation, I found.
I appreciate that. And I have a lot to add to what you, not a lot, but when I comment on what you're saying, first I gotta say, Willie, my God, thank you so much. My goodness, he said, cut it out. Thank you so much, and thank you to you guys for the likes. We are now more people are joining, so we're 8 away. Willie, that is $201. Thank you. We have more dollars than we have likes at this point. Thank you so much. I really, really, really appreciate it. Shout out to Lynette. Sorry, she's always so sweet, so I got to shout her out. She's tuning in from Little Rock, Arkansas. You were absolutely right, JJ, in what you were sharing. It takes time to see the person. I like to say in all seasons. For me, I definitely would not be comfortable accepting a ring unless I saw someone go through conflict, go through loss. You know, my guy got like really bad, I would say temporarily life altering news, probably the second month I knew him. And that was something that he knew I was definitely the person for him because of the way I was able to respond in that time. But it allowed me to see how he handled himself. A lot of guys, if you kind of knock the ladder out from underneath them or the seat out from underneath them, they lose all their cool, and you know, they don't have what they normally have. And so seeing how he moved during that time, it was super impressive. But yeah, definitely recommend taking time. I also recommend intentionally dating so that you guys are not, you know, delaying things unnecessarily. Okay, we're gonna move on to the next topic, y'all. This one's gonna be spicy. Okay. This one, I have a submitted question. Normally y'all, what, I don't know why this is not working. Hold on, I'm trying to hit the button. There we go. Hold on, I'm clicking it. My StreamYard people was okay. There we go. So this one is about her drive. Okay. Is anyone else hearing feedback, by the way? I think that's part of the reason why I'm getting distracted. Anyone else? Okay, now it's gone. Thank you. So it was a little distracting. We're at 50. See, we're at 56, and now we have 62. So all the new people who just came in, probably some of you who came from Instagram, make sure you hit that like button. You might have to close the chat box if you're on your cell phone. Click that like, and then come back in the chat. Y'all came at the right time because it's about to get really juicy. Okay, this is especially where I need the ladies to chime in, and I have some ladies who sent me their information via Instagrams because they did not want to share it. Did you want to add something in there, Willie, before we go?
I was going to say that if men who take all this time dating women, no one is telling women that she was their second choice. Maybe my man with the headphones might be cut like that. He gives that type of assertive, direct energy, but it's not going to be too many men who are going to be willing to tell a woman they have romantic interest in that they were their second or third choice, because by default negating all the effort you just put in with that woman, and it's not gonna go nowhere. So if you want to get broke up with, yeah, you might tell her the truth. But to sit here and to act as if it's normal or should be like common for men to tell women those objective truths that way, and then be able to sit there and just still be in that they're present with that woman is unrealistic. And then the last thing I was going to say is that it doesn't take long to know if a man likes a woman, especially when that man values his time more than his money. Because if you value your time, then the time you invest getting to know someone, you're not giving that person 3 to 6 months of your life, especially when you're 40 plus. Like like half your life is over. You're getting ready to die, and you don't want to spend 10, 15% of what you have left trying to vet a woman. That's crazy to me.
So I kind of want to jump.
Women respect you a whole lot. Women respect you so much more by you being straightforward and honest.
But it takes a certain quality of character to do something. And that's
I gotta think that we as men sometimes feel that we can't be forward and upfront about things of that our nature when women really want us to actually be there. Because guess what? Just like that, we doing the same thing. The women are doing the same thing too.
Those of us men who know that we can be forward and tell the truth always do, because we know we can, and we command that type of presence to be able to do so. It's not about a we versus or a women versus men thing. It's the type of man you are. There's nothing to gain by lying to a woman when you're a man that's on your square. If you gotta lie, shuck, be fake, do that representative stuff that women keep mentioning, it's because you're probably someone who shouldn't be dealing with women in the first place. You need to get yourself together and then do something different. But the majority of men are in that position. That's why they lie, run game, have to have swag, have to have charisma. They can't just tell a woman the truth like, hey, Yancy, I think you're gorgeous. I want to go out with you so we can have fun. Or Sai, I think you're a beautiful young lady and I can't wait to meet you and get to know you. Even if nothing happens, I hope that it does. But you weren't my first choice. You may have been my third. No man is going to tell a woman that unless he knows he can. And the ones who don't, it's because they know they can't. Like that's just basic human interaction. Like the guys who know they can tell the truth. The ones who can't, don't, because they don't have it to be able to do so. You can't sit a woman down that you really care about and say, hey, babe, instead of me cheating on you, I want to tell you that I'm not feeling fulfilled in this relationship and I don't want to end it, but I do want to see maybe we can bring a third person into the relationship to bridge the gap that you cannot cover. A man who knows you can do that.
It's a place of privilege. The truth comes from a place of privilege.
And most men don't operate there.
Right.
Well, the ones who take 3, 6, 9 months to vet a woman can't, from my experience.
Well, I have a theory about. That's why I asked him how tall he was, because tall guys are very lazy. They're effortless guys. You know what I'm saying? Especially when it comes to dating. You know what I'm saying? So, like those kind of guys, they'll wait for who likes them the most. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of guys will do that, but tall guys typically wait for girls who's going to show them the most effort. Do this, do that, and they'll take a couple months to kind of let a girl, weed her way through. And it's not normally the one they truly want.
They operate from an abundance mindset. All women want a 6 foot, 200 pound,
right
200K guy. So they'll sit back and let women weed themselves out. Because for them, it's the Hunger Games. For the 5'9" or fun size man, it's not. It's every man for himself. And they have to be out.
So you got to be a dog. You got to be a hunter. You got to be a dog if you're not above 6 foot. You know what I'm saying? So 100%. That's why I asked him. He sounded like a tall dude the way he's responding. You know what I'm saying? So.
Whew, y'all can converse. I'm just gonna sit here.
I will say the way that
I agree with Willie though.
Yeah, that's fine. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just thinking.
So respectful. I love it.
I mean, I can be very transparent about it. For a long time, I was in the military and was making in a regular person position. I wasn't out here telling girls like, hey, listen, I'm in the military. I'm gonna be stationed here for 6 months while I'm in school. I'm just trying to see what your insides is like, have fun and not be stressed out and then move on. I was never telling people that because no woman in her right mind is going to allow a man
it doesn't serve you
that type of mileage on her body, knowing that there is an end point. No respectable woman is going to do that publicly. But
I'm going to disagree with you.
But once I tell them the truth privately, when it's just us, they're significantly more receptive to it. But then now add 5-6 years of increased status, financial gain, experience, and means. There's never a point now where I'm ever in a situation where I have to lie to someone. I meet you with my intentions because my time is worth more than your feelings. So if I don't have 2, 3, 5, 6 weeks or months to wait to tell you for you to find out that, okay, well, you knew what I needed. I need to be fed, the other F word, and have fun with. And you decided that you only want to feed me and have fun. If I need all three of those things and I tell you that up front, then we can just go separate ways now because I don't have to wait and lie to you and try to convince you to do it.
Well, let me speak from personal experience. Let me speak from personal experience. I've told women that the only thing that you can do for me is just lay down and just let me F you. For real. And I've been straightforward with that.
And did they stick around?
Reaction to being the disrespectful guy versus the respectful guy is two different reactions. I've gotten more reaction out of being the disrespectful guy than I have being the respectful guy. And it also comes from you just being straight up because sometimes the only thing women want is the same thing that you want. The only thing they want is a nut too.
That's
so.
Hold
on. And that's just being straight. But I come from a place where when you can be straightforward with a woman and be upfront with her, this one thing that I believe. Give a person their choice so that they're not upset with you about making choices that you should have gave them the choice from the very beginning. So be straightforward with it and let them know exactly. Look, this is where I am. Look, I'm not dating two people, all right? Or I'm seeing two of the women. And no, it's nothing serious. No, I'm not having sex with them. This is what I'm doing. And
Isaac, sorry if I can cut in real quick. What you're saying for the sake of time is your concern about her well-being is trumping your particular needs. If I'm hearing you correctly, Willie, it sounds like what you're saying is I'm trying to get to an end purpose and the truth in that moment does not serve that end purpose. Am I paraphrasing correctly for both of you?
My time is worth more than your feelings, and I don't owe you concern for your feelings until I have an invested interest in you. While we're dating, getting to know each other, I'm telling you the truth 110% of the time. When we get married or we're exclusive, I'm telling the truth 120% of the time. I just will phrase it differently. There's the way that I package that truth is going to be different. But you have to be able to command that. Like a lot of men don't have the presence to command that type of understanding from a woman because they're not the kind of man those women want. A lot of men are a woman's third and fourth choice and don't know it because, as he said, women are significantly more slick. It took him 3 years to figure out someone who he was married to figure out what she was. I don't think that's an experience that a lot of men who go into those situations that command that presence, who walk into a room full of women and they all want to talk to him or they all know him. That's not the experience those men have.
So are you saying, Willie, that you are upfront and say, I'm not looking for a relationship, I just want to smash buddy? Are you saying that's what
he told you the timeline? He said in the beginning he was not like that. He became a man of status and value. You know what I'm saying? He got his chips in order. Now he can be, I'm this way, I want this, I want that. Because now my time is worth XYZ. You know what I'm saying? Where before I'm not just going to be like, hey man, I'm just trying to lay you down because I didn't command that unless she's seen my status. You know what I'm saying? So like, if you wasn't a part of that group, I noticed one thing when I was in college and was a part of the football team, I had one set when I wasn't, and I was just a guy going to school. Even though it was the same school, the tier level dropped. You know what I'm saying? Because it wasn't necessarily me. It was he's on the football team, and when I'm not on the football team, I'm a different guy. Like he's a nerd at this point.
I hate that this is true though, and then we gotta move on so we don't run out of time. I hate that this is true because there is an individual who, I won't say names because I don't drop names intentionally. Well, people say dropping names, they're showing off. I don't like to put people's names in my mouth, but there is somebody who has upwards of 11 or so children, all different mothers. This is public information because of his stature, and there are women who are
She
There
said,
are
no name drop.
no names, no names.
Sorry.
And so the women happily produce more children for him. Now, if this was a Joe Schmo, you know, that's I mean, yes, there are some women who will just give men tons of, I don't know what they're doing, but what I'm saying is, I hate to say this, but there is truth to it. There are things that women say they would not put up with, but for the right guy. And this is someone who's coming from LA, raised there, you know, like there are things that men feel like they can do. I have been around these kinds of guys. I just wasn't that girl. And I'm like, I don't know who you think you're talking to, but the comfort level that women will deal with. There are women who say they can go and do what they want as long as they don't disrespect me publicly or have a baby. But like, there are a lot of things that women will tolerate based on a man's stature. And I don't mean just physically, you know, like how he presents himself, his vibe. Y'all are really trying to say the name. We know the name. I just am not going to plug somebody on my channel.
Women make rules for guys they settle for. They break rules for guys they want.
She said for the right price in this case, right? All right, guys. So I really want to get to this next topic, even though this was juicy. I appreciate that, y'all. Topic number 2, we're going to talk about when her drive is higher than his. Okay, I have something to share. This was sent to me. Normally, like I said, I do my advice in the reels, but she wanted me to present it to the panel. So hopefully I can, okay, there. I hate that it makes the screen so off. Let's see if there's a way. Can I do it like this? Nope. Okay, it's going to make you guys super small while I read it, I guess. Oh, no, there we go. That's a little better. Okay, the lack of symmetry is really killing me. I feel like whenever the conversation about sexual needs comes up, the picture is always painted where the guy is getting deprived or not receiving enough physical affection by his lady. But my situation is the exact opposite. I seem to always end up with guys who are not affectionate. I've always been the aggressor in relationships when it comes to sex and makes me feel so insecure. I'm wondering if any other women experience this or if I'm alone. It makes me feel like I'm not attractive enough. And since it's been like this with more than one boyfriend, it's really making me get in my head. Sorry, the font is so small, you guys. Struggling. One boyfriend told me I was too affectionate and hated when I made any sort of sexual innuendo. Did someone say something? Oh. I know we shouldn't compare ourselves, our relationships to what others have, but I get so jealous when I see other couples where the man can't keep his hands off his lady. Can you ask the men on your panel about what it's like to be with a woman whose drive is much higher than theirs? I think it's normal to want intimacy daily. Is that weird? I really need advice. Okay, so 2 things. Would you think that was weird? 1, if a woman wanted intimacy daily. And 2, have you ever been with a woman who wanted it much more than you? All right.
No,
So
I actually like the women I date.
Did you say you actually like women you date?
Yeah, like the only time that a woman's sex drive could ever possibly surpass mine is if I'm broke, which, you know, we see how far away from that is. And then 2, if I don't like her. So, I mean, it's different. Like, okay, I'm on the podcast now, and you know what I'm saying, Sai walked in and was like, oh my God, I need something right now. That would be different. Like, I'm like, hey, I'm on camera. We can't do that. You got to wait. But like, just to drive me like, no, I'm not going to give you none. That's crazy. Or I guess the 3rd time would be is if I'm getting ready to leave and I'm trying to like put some space in between, you know, the last time I slept with you and the next time I sleep with this person, you know, to keep those results, you know, clean. Cause, you know, the guy, after we sleep with one girl, we want to make sure that 1, everything is checking out medically, and that 2, she's not pregnant. So the worst thing you could do is get with a new girl and have you know, twins 4-5 months apart. So, but that's it. There's no way that I'm gonna tell my woman no if she's like, oh, I want to have sex 3 times a week or 3 times a day. I mean, I know what I signed up for. It ain't just paying bills.
I agree with Willie. Not 100% with the ideology, like, but I do the same thing. Like when I was single and I knew I was going to leave a girl, I would stop sleeping with her, even though she would still hang around or not. I wouldn't sleep with her because I'm trying to get her to separate, and I'm trying to break that connection so I can move forward. You know what I'm saying? So I agree with him. It's just slightly for a different reason. It wasn't for
Nothing cements feelings faster than consistent orgasms.
So here's the thing. Sorry, William, I'm going to cut you off. I did a survey. I have, actually, I'm going to, sorry, YouTube or Instagram, watch on YouTube because I got to get to my stories. So I took a poll and I screenshotted it earlier, but I want to see what it's currently at right now. And I asked the ladies if they have ever had their drive higher than their man. 72% said yes. And then I can give you the numbers. 24 women said, yes, my drive has been higher than my man. I actually invited quite a few of them to come on and share. So we'll see if anybody pops in and wants to give their take, or any ladies here can talk about that experience. And then I asked men if they've ever had a woman whose drive was higher than theirs, and half of them said yes. So I had, like I said, some of the women were not comfortable coming on camera, so we had small conversations to the side. But as far as intimacy, there's a lot of shame. There was one person, said, "Oh," her guy said, "I thought maybe you were an addict," because she just had a high drive. Not anything kinky, not anything funny, just a high drive, and like making innuendos and things like that. So thank you, Sai. She said, grab your super chat. Ladies,
I have a question.
Yeah,
so is it just the desire for it, and women having more desire?
Correct.
Because honestly, I don't feel like that desire translate to the end location when it's all said and done. Because when the performance starts, I don't think that desire is more intensified than men. Because
so what she
when
means
the boys get
is,
to talking, go ahead.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Let me paint the picture just to make sure it's really, really clear. So let's just say, let's take a week, a couple. This is only in the relationship, okay? The scenarios that we're picturing. Oh my God. Yes, I keep telling him this. Goodness gracious. Woo! Thank you so much. We're at 3:03 now. Y'all, you can't let Willie do all the super chats. Y'all got to do 5. Hey.
Don't get these people to trying to compete. I got retired strip club videos. It will leave me alone.
My guy's gonna be like, "What were you doing on camera to get $300 on a super chat?" I'm like, "Babe, just don't watch on Tuesdays." So here's the scenario. This is a couple. They're in a relationship, and she's feeling a little frisky on Sunday, and she's like, and she initiates or hints that she wants it, right? So she's initiated on Sunday. Then Monday comes, they're busy all day. They go to bed at night, and she rolls over and she starts initiating. That's 2. And like that. And then maybe the third day he's initiating. So when it comes down to it, the person who's initiating the most, that's the drive I'm speaking of. So she's initiating and he's not as much, or there's a drastic difference in the amount of initiation.
I can't speak on that because every time that request was asked, it was granted. I think we had this conversation on one of the panels before. I don't know if drive is something that me personally, being an African, I lack. So, I can't necessarily answer for anybody, but I make sure, obviously you have a structure of your timeline, but I make sure that request is always met because obviously you understand there are other aspects of the relationship that you have different performances minus the bills, etc. Which the fiscal aspect is. Obviously, there's strategy to it because it's not always, because me personally, I don't say it's playing games, but I think one of the gentlemen said, not necessarily starving her, but, learn her miss it, or making sure I'm actually much more energized to perform to the level I want to perform to, not necessarily as being requested for. So entirely, I think that granting is also based on those touch points that I mentioned. So, but
and
I
that
think
makes sense
every time it's granted.
Yeah. And I appreciate, and I want to be, because I don't want them to take away ads from this. If we get too spicy, literally they'll limit the ads. So and you didn't do anything wrong, by the way. I just know this could take a turn. But I think it's really important because as women, we don't understand what's happening biologically for men. Like, you could mentally want something, but physically there's something else. In past discussions, I've heard a guy say that it's more enjoyable for him if he waits and there is a build there. I'm trying to be very discreet with my words. So as much as you guys are comfortable sharing in the comments too, as well, like educate, I really want this to be a platform where people can have this conversation. There might be couples who can't have this conversation. And so this is maybe some woman's only outlet to express herself, or maybe a guy who's been misunderstood and the woman assumes he's lying. And so I'm going to ask this quick question and then I'll get to yours. Ladies, yes or no, if you initiated more than your guy, would it make you feel away? Would you feel an insecurity if on average you were initiating 5 times and he's only initiating twice? Would that affect you? Yes, that would affect you. You'd feel
Absolutely.
away, or no, you wouldn't.
Right.
Okay, there we go. Let's talk about it.
Men love it. We love when our women initiate. Like, that's
Well, yeah, sometimes.
That's the problem that a lot of men have, is that they women don't initiate. And it's not saying that they don't give it up. Like, we can go initiate and 9 times out of 10, she coming, she doing what she needs to do. But at the same time, for the women who are having to initiate, I just have a hypothesis maybe that for women that have a high sex drive, does that mean that the sex they are getting is bad? Because it's been my experience that, when a lot of women get that demon slayer, they're out. It's not a whole bunch of, they can't spin the block on that.
Wait. So my question for you, let's quantify this. I know we're laughing because his delivery was funny, but I'm talking about, are you saying that the theory is that if on Monday it was fabulous, Tuesday they're still blacked out?
There's a safety point at some point where you're satisfied. And that's the part where, like, you want to roll over and go to sleep. Like, whatever.
That's for that night.
Right. Just for that night, right? But
for that night. So
now if tomorrow she has to initiate again, does she have an issue with that? Or is it just because the guy doesn't ever take the need to? Like,
so the scenario would be like this. So Sunday, and I love it. She's like, Madeline was like, I can share. And I love this because we haven't had a chance to hear from the ladies yet. So this is a scenario that I can paint. Sunday, she initiated. Monday, she initiated. Tuesday, she initiated. Now she's feeling away, like, doggone, is he into me? Then Wednesday, he initiates, and she's like, okay, he does like me. And then Thursday, nothing. So she either doesn't say anything, but she wants to. Friday, he finally initiates, and then Saturday, he doesn't initiate again. She's like, out of the whole week, he only initiated twice. So that's the scenario that I'm painting for the sake of this discussion. Madeline, what were you going to add?
And no, I was just going to.
And ladies are all saying yes, they would feel away.
Yeah, sometimes it's the quality, and like your drive is higher because you're not actually getting fully satisfied, so to speak.
Thank you.
So it's like you constantly trying.
Thank you.
I mean, it happens.
I think there's a difference.
You said what?
Okay, so I'm thinking about.
I want to get to something.
No, I was just thinking about the original message that was sent to you by this woman, and it was an issue that was deeper than, or it was not just about sex. I think it was, when we talk about intimacy, sex and intimacy are not necessarily one and the same thing. Like, people can have sex and, then go about their way and not care. But just not being able to touch or not being able to have meaningful conversation or share a kiss. Like, if you're with somebody who, like, used to hug you and now they don't, or used to, hold your hand and now they don't. Like, part of her message seemed like there was a lack of touch, a lack of affection, not just actual sex drive, but drive for touch and companionship. So when that level of physical affection or closeness is gone, I think you can feel cold. And even if a person is still having, like, intercourse, it's like, well, if anything, that's a time where you feel more vulnerable and, like, empty, because if I see in these other areas that this person is not affectionate with me, but they only come to me to get off, then, it's dehumanizing, because it's like, okay, well, they're not. And I'm just speaking hypothetically, because, I have experienced, like, when touch is gone, when it seems like that has gone cold. And I don't think it has to escalate to sex for you to see that. So that was just my thought. Just when you can tell when somebody stops to care physically in other ways, not just sexually. It's not always about drive.
I definitely agree as far as touch and physical intimacy and all that. This situation, because she and I had a bit of a back and forth, I am able to say yes, 100%. She was talking about both. She was talking about the actual wanting it, but also talking about the affection. I know the part where she said a lot of guys have said, well, one boyfriend said she was too affectionate, but it seems like she's attracting men who are not. So in addition to not being affectionate, which I would classify affection, you know, kissing, holding hands, stroking hair, cuddling, all that, and sex. So, you know, most people, you know, if you don't have a ton of boyfriends, you're kind of guessing that these couple of people you dealt with are representing everybody. So I could see how that would be difficult if multiple people, because it's like, what are the chances that she just keeps connecting with the same type of guy? And this is the other thing. This is why I want to have this conversation, which is different than what you're hearing. All the types of jokes that you hear, like, oh, she's making me sleep on the couch, or, oh, I guess I'm not going to get any. All the jokes are about a man not being satisfied. All the jokes are, you know, I wish I could get some. And so, and this is even getting women on the show to talk about it. It's difficult because it is so kind of taboo, at least I'm assuming based on the responses. But I think that there are women who want it more than their partner. And then as a guy who wants to say, yeah, I don't want it as much as my partner, but it's nothing to do with my sexuality, or I don't have dysfunction. It's just, that's not a huge priority for me. So
but
there are different factors that go into that. Sorry. Go ahead.
Doesn't the disconnection comes from, first, I think that I should be able to communicate, you know, what I want. But in my experience in life, being at the age I am, intimacy starts from the time that you wake up until the time you go to sleep. And the more intimate you are with the person, with the woman, and I'm going to speak for the man, the more intimate I am with the woman that's in my life, the easier the sex portion becomes, and the satisfaction of that sex happens a whole lot faster if I'm just being consistent intimately throughout the day. That's whether it's a simple tip. In the morning, girl, look, waking up next to you in the morning, the best thing that I've had in my life. Whatever it is that you want to say, you know. And then it's the physical touch of things that happen before you depart the house for the day, right? And then throughout the day, it is a text or a quick phone call. Look, I missed you. Look, I just want to check on you to see how your day going. You know, or, you know, it's that is the intimacy that happens, as well as when you are physically in front of each other and you get to talk to one another, you get to lay under one another, you get to laugh, and all that transpires. But then when an actual sex portion happens, the satisfaction of it happens a whole lot faster, a whole lot easier, because you've done every single thing, you've done all the intimacy. So when it comes to the sex, you are hitting the apex of what has happened throughout the day.
I think that is spot on. And not to interject, and that was the point I was trying to mention with the granting every time, because in my situation, to add to that, because I don't want to stress over the point, it was exactly that, because we work in the same corporate space. Going into the office, obviously she knows I'm in a certain time. Like I said, the environment is quite important too. So throughout the day, you get these things, and then once it's 6 o'clock, oh, I'm seeing you tonight. I can't wait to see you. Like, you've seen this person throughout aspects of the day, and I think those checkpoints, like you said, good morning, I'll see you in the office, or lunch today, spending lunch together, and those little things come nighttime, you know, and get to spend that moment. I just feel as though. And I don't want to sound too vulgar, just because I don't want us to start getting flagged, but you get the vulgar messages.
We get the
oh, down there's whatever. I can't wait. Or, you know, little things. And it gives you an idea of, okay, maybe you do this more. Or, okay, morning text. All right, thing for this person. I think developing that intimacy from reading that message is what I kind of understood. It wasn't necessarily just the physical aspect of the bedroom. It was more so that the partner she was running to they didn't have that emotional connectivity to read that. That's just trying to inform
So
her.
I hate to be this person because there are levels to this, and you guys are so sweet, and I love the emotional intelligence. But I was really clear in this conversation with this woman. She is talking about the actual act. so she
how do we even take it to the rest of the, well, maybe he's not emotional, or maybe he just doesn't like me or want to be affectionate. Like, she said what she said. Like, how do we go to, well, maybe, no, it's not maybe. Let's just make the above stated facts have led me to believe that.
Let me see. There we go. All right. So
is not, having sex with her at the clip she wants to, and it's not the first time it's happened. It's a few other guys. She's the common denominator. I'm a math-based thinker.
I mean, I'm kind of with him. Maybe she's doing something. They just don't like it. Like, because I've never had a guy who, if they enjoy it, they're not going to initiate. Like, that's just.
Well, the amount of times that a person can want it throughout the week will vary, man or woman. So, and there's so many different like factors into like a person's sexual expectations, like what you desire to have versus what you'll actually have. Like, just where is the sexual energy going, or how much is there to begin with? If it's like, I'm okay with it once or twice a week, well, the woman, I want it, I'm just speaking hypothetically, 3 to 4 times a week. Okay, even though I want it more frequently, if I have a fully dimensional relationship with this person, then I'm willing to sacrifice having it more frequently because my other needs are getting met in the relationship. And so I don't expect to get everything met physically, but if he's affectionate in other ways and shows up in other ways, I can live with it. But if it's not just like sex drive, if it's like what other sexual outlets are there, like if he's seeing other women, or if he's watching porn and self-pleasuring, like if his sexual energy is going to other places, and so there's nothing or very little concern for this woman that he's who's in front of him currently, then that's going to affect like how he approaches or even communicates sexual desire needs, or how he's going to respond to her sexual needs. So it's unfortunate when it's like, if there's a preference for seeing other people or to like watch sexual content over being with the actual person, since that is like a way of bonding and showing love and affection. But I do think that's a serious issue. I've had that in part, that issue with like, so it affected even like going back to the physical touch aspect, not even sex, where it's like, I'm so used to watching porn or sexual content or dating women frequently and being promiscuous, that it's more about the novelty that the guy is sexually attracted to than it is like being in a committed relationship with one person. That like his energy as time progressed just was very limited, and it just like could not felt less motivated or less incentive to like be physically affectionate with me.
I think that it's interesting. I definitely thought there was going to be more diversity in the thoughts and opinions on the panel, in the comments. It seems as though everyone is in agreement that every guy is going to have an extremely high sex drive. And if she does not get it if he's not initiating, then either she's doing something wrong or there's something that is going on. That's what I'm gathering. My take is different. I see you, Kevin, shake your head so you can chime in. My take is that men have different levels of drive, and I think that women have different levels of drive, and I think that it's just taboo for women to say, my man isn't giving me enough. I think it's totally acceptable for a guy to say that, and everyone, poor guy, yeah, but you get married, you don't get any. There are not going to be outlets for women to say, I'm not feeling this. I have also heard, Willie mentioned something about money. I have heard men say that if they are stressed out it affects their sex drive. When men get older, it affects their sex drive. When women tend to have higher sex drives when time goes as they age. And there are some, now this is having to do with the dynamics of the relationship, but sometimes it could be mental in the sense that if he is annoyed with something in the relationship, it also affects physical, because not all guys are one dimensional where it's like, so if we're fighting and not getting along, I'm not seeing you that way. And other guys can hook up in the middle of a fight. So I think everyone is so different. But the reason why I wanted to do this topic in particular, once I found out how many women were in this situation, and again, I don't think that they're going to be comfortable really speaking up in the chat. So I'm trying to do my best to speak for them. And I try to interview as much as I could before the show. But I think as a woman, especially in today's day and age, okay, Willie, you are out of control. What are we at now? Yo, my goodness. Thank you, Willie. Seriously, my God. We're going to have to bring him in the studio for the next show. I always get distracted with that. My goodness, thank you. Willie, you guys better be on. Better be on every single show, every episode. Y'all tag teaming. But I want to speak up for the ladies and let you know that you are not alone, based on my survey, based on the DM conversations I'm having with women. And today's day and age makes it seem like a woman's sexuality is big. Like, a man should be attracted to you. He should be sexually into you. And so I could see how this would affect a woman's self-esteem if he is not after her nonstop, especially with all of the little memes and sitcom storylines and things like that, where the woman's constantly like, oh God, he's always after me. I can't do anything without him wanting me. And that's just not the case for quite a few women. Kevin, what were you going to say? Sorry, it was going on long-winded.
You backtracked it, but it was kind of to the point of saying, men don't like to, we love. I appreciate my woman coming to initiate sex with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need that. So if I'm gonna do it 5 days a week, I need her to do the other 2. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, so that's the thing for me. You know what I'm saying? And that lets me know that, I still got the juice. You know what I mean? I don't with her. You know what I mean? And I hate to get the validation outside. You know what I'm saying? Because I'll be like, yo, what's good? Because I go outside and I can get all the I want you, you know what I mean, that I can handle.
What was the ratio you gave? I'm so sorry.
I just said like 5 to 2.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So
but you on the 5, right?
Yeah, me on the 5.
Yeah, I think that's totally. I don't think anyone would be insecure if he's initiating 5 times and she's 2. I think if it's the reverse, it would.
But even if it was half and half, like I would rather prefer her be 5 to 2. You know what I'm saying? Because
yeah.
If it was that way, you know what I'm saying? It would be me. Like, I don't think she would do that, because it goes back to how much would she be satisfied? Like, she wouldn't have that problem. But I would rather her do it, because then I'm competitive that way. Like, oh, you got the nerve to initiate with me, then I'm gonna really knock it out your head. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of one of those situations that if she's not getting that, then I don't know what the problem is.
Because if you think about it, we going out here, we're going out here conquering the world, slaying dragons, bringing home what we kill, and giving her a life where all she has to do is show up. Everything is soft. She's taken care of, and everything is paid for. So, like you said, the least she can do is initiate those 5. But imagine what happens with those 2. As we've been out with the boys, we went and did on the weekly. You know what I'm saying? We went to the bar, casino, whatever. And all we can think about for those 2 cases, what we're going to do when we get home. The planning and intention that we put behind it is probably going to make the 2 that we initiate probably trump all 5 that she did anyway, because we're intentional about it. And we drove home in traffic, left the bar, left our boys to go back home and do what we
I'm going home. Yeah.
To do. So, I mean, to us, women initiate is never bad. Like,
of course not. Oh, of course not. Ever. Yeah.
And like the lady said, I mean, again, math-based thinker. Like earlier, you guys said there's 7.8 billion people on Earth. 4.4 billion of those people are women. There's not one man for every woman. Y'all may have to share, because some of us don't even like women. But either way, being a math-based thinker, she's the common denominator. That if she's had this problem with multiple people, again, simple, it may not be the dudes.
But what would be the problem?
But in this case, I don't think it is the dude.
I can give you three potential.
He could have slow dragged her.
She's not good at it.
Okay.
She lays there, again, perfect example. A lot of women who are abnormally attractive aren't good in bed. If you poll guys and ask them. And the reason why is because they know that men like us fixate on getting them in bed, so to the point that we go in there feeling like we got something to prove to them. So all they have to do is lay there like a life-size sex doll that speaks English.
The shellfish.
Follow the instructions and doesn't do anything weird until we're finished, and then ideally they'll get where they need to go, and we'll be like, oh yeah, we finally did that. Another baddie. So that may be the case with her. Like she just may not be. I don't want to say good because it takes two to have bad.
Right.
But she just may not be her dude. Maybe her dude was with a woman who was significantly more experienced before he got with her. And he's used to someone, jumping off the walls and swinging from trampolines and vines like Tarzan and landing on it. Like he just may have a different expectation.
And she's more vanilla.
And what happens when you do that with a man, he's reminded every time a woman meets a man and doesn't meet his standard or what he looks, you force that man to think about someone who did, especially when it comes to physical stuff. So like I was saying, from personally, the one thing that'll stop me from initiating is when let's make sure we stay monetized, when the oral portion feels like a dental exam. I'm not going to initiate that again. Like I don't want that, so I'm not going to ask for that. But now apply that if it's just sex altogether. Like it's bad, she makes weird noises, maybe her hygiene is off. Who knows? But you're not fixing to sit here and bring me the same thing that I'm already not pleased with. That has me thinking about an ex 2 or 3 exes ago, 4 or 5 times a day or a week, and then expect me to volunteer for that. That's like me as a child reminding my mom that I'm grounded. Like, hey, mom, you told me I was grounded, didn't you? Because I hate that. Like, why would I go back in that position again?
That's like your mom. That's like asking your mom to make that TV dinner that you hated. Like, who was that? Yeah. Like, mom, are we having TV dinners tonight? No.
Like, you want to be nice and make her feel good. Like, good and well, mom, I hate green bean casserole. The reason I come here and ask you to make it is because I'm going to ask you something else later. Like, we don't do that to our women. Like, if we'll just, instead of us telling you, hey, this is trash, we just won't ask for it anymore. Like, think about it this way. You cook a dish for your man that you think is bomb. Like, you might put sugar in your spaghetti. I think that's a cardinal sin. But you might make spaghetti with sugar in it. If you serve me spaghetti with sugar in it, I swear to you on my life, I will never ask you to make it again. And that could be your favorite dish. You can make the pasta from scratch. You can make the the sauce from crushed tomatoes, tomato paste, a little chicken stock because, you fancy. But once you put sugar in it, throws the whole thing off. And I'm never going to initiate that request again because, like, you're going to say, what do you want for dinner? I can never tell you whatever I want, whatever, because if you make spaghetti, now I'm pissed. Now I'm mad, like, damn, I should have said stroganoff.
So I want to recap. Oh, were you going to say something?
I'm finished.
Hey, yeah, Yancey, I wanted to add something to that. Because the math-based thinking is really accurate. One thing that this young lady may be doing is she may be expressing the need for her love language to be met, but not understanding the men that she dates. She's not understanding their love language. She doesn't know how to pair the two together to get what she wants. I'm putting this out as a theory. As an example, if a man, his love language is acts of service. I'm just picking that one. She's giving him gifts as opposed to performing a service that would stimulate him in a way that makes him desire her more. She's thinking, let me just be here unclothed, and that's enough. And I'll submit to that young lady and any other woman who thinks like that. You would do yourself a favor if you learn not only your love language, but your partner's love language, and you learn how to love them in that language, as opposed to only wanting them to understand your language and love you through that.
I 100% agree. And again, I blame society for painting this one-dimensional picture that if you are a woman, a man is going to act a certain way. Because what kept coming up in the DMs was feeling insecure. Like if I'm in a relationship with a guy and my love language is gifts, I don't think I would feel insecure if he didn't get me gifts. I'd be like, oh, it's not his love language. But if he didn't give affection, that's something like for me, I'm big on affection. I associate that with all men. However, I have interviewed enough men to know there are quite a few who are not into physical touch. And there have been guys where you find out their parents weren't affectionate. I grew up in an extremely affectionate household. Like I could to this day, as a 43-year-old woman, climb in my parents' lap and just like watch a movie. You know, I'll play with my mom's hair. Last time I went home, I was blow drying her. We're very, very affectionate, touchy-feely. So it's very odd to be around people who don't. I have a cousin who doesn't like to be hugged. But there might be something deeper there. But it's just everyone has different languages. But I think with male-female relationships specifically, society really makes it seem like something is wrong with that woman in particular if her man's hands are not all over her. So, you know, my heart does go out to the ladies in that scenario. I love what Willie had to say. You guys, literally, this is why I do this show, because in a bunch of opinions and perspectives, you could probably find some nuggets, something that would help you. I have done surveys about odor in my story. Y'all be asking everything in my stories. If you guys have voted my poll, comment I have. I want to see how many of you guys have. But there is a significant number. There are a significant number of men who have experienced a negative odor from women, and that is traumatizing. I'm not even exaggerating. We've done a show where they did horror stories about that and the ways that they had to get out of it and try to, you know, preserve her dignity, but also his sanity. So make sure you're fresh is my PSA. Make sure you are fresh. There was something else that you were saying. Oh, make sure you are interactive. No one wants a starfish. If you guys don't know what that is, Google it. Pillow princess, I think, is another term for it. And I would say communicate, both people. Like, I think the men should communicate what they want, because there was a funny part of this book that I read. It was talking about all the things you should ask before you get married. And it said, find out, for example, if your partner likes to talk in bed. For one person, talking dirty in bed is the most erotic turn on. The other person is like, shut up. I don't need a sports announcer, you know, narrating. And I was like, oh my God, that's so funny. Like, what if you thought you were just being so hot and yeah, daddy. And he's like, he's 6 months in, you find out he's like, oh my God, I just like hearing quiet moans, you know, whatever. So you have to communicate, both of you, what your needs are. And I would also say that it's really important to speak to that person in their love language and not just say, well, that's not my thing. So I'm going to ask you guys this question. How many of you, raise your hand, would say that it's the responsibility of the guy to initiate more? If she's saying, hey, husband, boyfriend, whatever he is, I don't feel loved or secure when I'm initiating more times. Do you think he should step it up, or do you think she should get over it? So I'm going to do hands up for step it up.
I think
initiate more. We got 1, 2, and a halfie. And then she should get over it. Let me see your hands for that. 1, 2,
right.
3. Oh, yeah. Okay.
I think
so combination. Okay.
I mean, if you could retract what Willie said earlier about what he does for his family, right?
Mm-hmm.
The least she could do is initiate some sex. Like if she has
You're
her
being
needs,
practical though.
Huh?
That's super
You're being
practical.
practical though.
That's practical.
We're talking emotions. We're talking women and emotions. Come on.
Even with a woman's emotion, because that means that the emotion that she doesn't feel towards man is appreciation. The only thing that she needs to do is feed him, F him, and respect him, and he will be happy. So now she's
he will be happy.
Yeah, he will, right? But so now, the issue is that she doesn't initiate sex. Like, I can't imagine a home that I would come to where I provide my woman with the softest of lives, And then the issue that she has is that I'm not initiating sex. Like that's mind blowing to me. Like knowing what I do outside of the home to make sure that we can come to the home that we live in.
She needs to get her priorities in order.
Yeah, listen, you got to pick a struggle. Do you want to initiate? You want to like initiate sex mostly, or do you want to pay a bill or have a housekeeper come one less day a week? Because at some point, like I'm sorry, but it just becomes where you're just being ungrateful now. Now, and
I think she might be in a 50-50. She might be in a 50-50.
Yeah,
we'll go with that.
We gotta pay all the bills, and now we gotta initiate all the sex too. Like, what does she want to do? Nothing.
But that's not every situation either. That's what you're saying you're providing, but that's not everybody's situation either.
Right. I'm like, what about for women who both, if women and men, if in the relationship, if they both work and they both have kids, or they have kids and other responsibilities or things that are pulling at their attention and energy, like.
Man,
then
cocoa melon is a thing. You put cocoa melon on, lock your kids, put dinosaur nuggets in the oven, and go get it in.
Right, but if I'm coming to my partner or my person and saying, "Hey, I'm feeling some type of way because you're not initiating," then I feel even vice versa. If he's coming to me saying you need to initiate more, it's the other person's responsibility to accommodate, to at least try to initiate.
Right.
Well, if they're coming to you, that's a problem.
If his response to that was, "I also feel a way about that, but I find it convenient that you only feel a way and something needs to change when you have an issue." Because it's not easy for me to come back and pay all these.
I agree with that, but it's a two-way street. It should be mutual. Yeah, I agree. With
yeah, let's look at a healthy environment, right? Hypothetical purposes where
have misunderstandings.
Yeah.
No. What I'm saying is, let's just say she's not being selfish. Let's say, so you're saying, okay, I provide all this stuff. Let's say she's cooking, she's cleaning, she's no housekeeper. Okay, we're talking about average people. She's cooking every night. She's cleaning. She's making the bed. The kids are tended to. She is a gem to be around. She speaks life into him. He needs a massage. She's got it. She's making sure his game is always. I mean, she is the dream wife. In that situation, for hypothetical purposes, huh?
If she's a dream wife, she initiates sex and doesn't complain about it.
Wow,
you're missing the point.
I don't think that's always realistic.
I don't agree with it. But I definitely didn't miss the point because
I feel like that's biased towards the guy. Like it's like the happy wife, happy life, but in reverse.
Whoa, see that happy wife, it's happy spouse, happy house.
No. I said I hate the happy wife, happy life thing, and I'm saying what I think you're saying is the male equivalent of happy wife, happy life, because you're saying she's getting financial stuff, so she should be happy.
Oh, it's not just the financial; it's still the protection, the provision. Me supporting her dreams, everything that you just said that would make her an ideal person, she's getting the exact same thing. The only difference is that the only problem is who's initiating sex.
Right, in this scenario.
Like, okay, cool. This week I got 3 days, next week you got 4.
Don't downplay that financial stuff either, because
I would definitely say that. It has to be, look, okay, because you know how the woman look. Is she a very attractive woman?
I am not touching that.
That is really important.
She is watching the show.
That's really important.
She is watching.
Okay. Well, let me say. Well, let me say this then. Let me say this. It has to be something, and I'm speaking from a man. It has to be something about her for a man to never want to initiate or never.
No. She didn't say never. She said she initiates more than him, and she tends to get with guys who aren't affectionate.
Yancey, poll the guys and ask them how many times they've had a woman who was super physically attractive that they didn't, and they had unrelented access to them that they didn't want to have sex with all the time.
So here's the difference. So just to clarify what you're saying, she never said he turned her down.
He just didn't initiate.
Right, the majority of the time. So like Kevin was saying, hey, in my situation, I'd probably be okay with initiating 5, and then she initiates 2. Although it would be great if she initiated 5 to 2, whatever, right? So what she's saying is, and she didn't give a number, but it would be like her having to initiate 5 times every week, and he's only initiating 2. So I didn't ask her about the quality and if he's liking it, but let's just say hypothetically, if he's saying he's enjoying it, he's not giving any critiques or whatever. And my theory is that I think that some men just have a lower drive. I mean, I specifically talked to somebody before and they said they can literally go a week. And for him, he feels like it's more enjoyable because of, and granted, he's later 40s, the person I interviewed, but he was saying that it feels better when there's a buildup as opposed to just being depleted. So not to get too graphic.
Yeah.
So that's why I wanted to ask the guy.
You actually hit something key there. Like, I've yet to meet anyone that initiates or sex drive is higher than mine. That's just me personally. That's me personally. But
are you comfortable sharing your number? How many times a week your preference on how many times in a perfect world, how many times a week you'd want it if you're comfortable sharing that?
Once a day.
Okay.
Or depending on what we're doing, because sometimes we can go 3, 4, 5 times a day. It just depends on the mood. Okay.
So you've never met a woman who wanted it once a day, is what you're saying?
I've never met a woman that sex drive was higher than mine.
Okay.
Okay. So I do really I will agree with you that for us, we do know that there are times that we do get drained and where we can't do anything else. And in the essence of sometimes just waiting a day or 2 days, meaning 24 hours, 48 hours, it's a better effort for us because there are sometimes we have pain because we've ejaculated too much. Okay. And women also have to understand that. Now, we may not say it, but it's true. If we're constantly ejaculating over and over again, it begins to hurt. So that's just a little nugget.
Okay.
Can I just add?
I
just add that with all the ratios we're talking about and the needs and all this other stuff, and her coming to him and saying, "Hey, I need this at least this many times a week," kind of sounds like a job. And I find sex to be more enjoyable when it's organic. If there's a buildup, that's even better. If let's say you're not giving your partner the amount of sex they need every week, they talk to you about it. Try to come to some kind of try to compromise somewhat. But if she's saying, "Listen, I need it like 6 times a week," if my number is like 3 or 4, then I'm gonna be thinking about those 2 days. Like, dang, I got to do 2 more. Like,
she has toys,
and I don't have an issue with that. If she has toys, cool.
Toys, shower heads, old Kenmore dryers. If she has a whole lot of things she can use.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. All of this sounds like a job. It shouldn't feel like a job to please your partner. Even though it kind of is, because it's a responsibility. You want to please that partner. It shouldn't.
That's a great point.
Clocking in. I can't forget. I can't go right to bed tonight after working 16 hours. And get a good 40 minutes.
He said, "Oh shoot, don't hang up my jersey yet." No, that's a good point. And don't lose your thought, Willie. That's a really, really good point. Is that there is because we talk about communication and express your needs, what have you. But like you said, there's a fine line between now that person's like, "Oh, I have to perform." And to Willie's point, I'm going to push back on this. For people who have physical touch as a love language, it is not the same thing as, and correct me in the comments if you disagree, there is a difference between horniness, I hope I don't get demonetized, and wanting the intimacy of lovemaking. Because I will say this, as somebody who believes that, sex is intended for marriage, I can literally go and be fine with no activity. I mean, solo, partner, nothing, and be cool and not think about it. Let me be in love. And I'm like, it's not about suddenly there's this itch that needs to be scratched. It is the ultimate feeling of this person wants me, needs me, must have me in my entirety, which is why women love those romance novels where they're getting thrown against the wall. It's not that, and men like the porn, right? It's the passion for the women. It's the, it's he must have me and he's into me, and it's the emotion behind it. more than it is, I would say, slightly more than it is the physical. And obviously, if it's bad, that's a whole other situation. But if the physical is good, it's just as much an emotional thing, which is why for women, we want all the foreplay, the verbal foreplay and the love and the this and then that. It's not just the we need a release. Because again, there's a whole market of products if it was just that. What were you going to say, Willie? I think it was either Willie or Kevin. I cut you off. And are you guys okay on time, by the way? I was about to wrap this, but we were kind of right in the middle.
I'm still free till next Thursday. It's two real important things. One, we can't give subjective. I mean, we can only give subjective opinions because we don't know what this woman looks like, and that's why these conversations tend to be uncomfortable. Because as men, I'm not going to be able to sit here and tell you a specific answer. Like I can't because I don't have the information. I don't know what
she is gorgeous. You guys, I didn't want to start a precedent because if you ask me about somebody else and they might not look like this lady, I don't want to be like, oh. So y'all do not pull back the files if you ask me again.
But even then, he's still with her, so he finds her attractive to a certain degree, or he wouldn't be with her anyway.
Hey, she can DM me. Doesn't mean anything. He doesn't mean he hasn't left yet. You know how many unhappy men are still married because it's easier to stay unhappily married,
and vice versa. I agree, but I'm just saying, like, there has to be some type of.
So, but you
right, and they're not married, Willie. This is a guy who's choosing to be with her. This is
some type of attraction.
That's saying, men. Okay, so let's not make the marriage part the part we hang on. Men don't leave relationships, as married or otherwise, at the rate that women do. We will sit somewhere and be unhappy or unfulfilled for years just because we don't want to start over. That's why we have drawers that we've had for 20 years. We still have the same hoodie that we wore in high school. We have our favorite shoes. We have these old school cars we love forever that we put billions of dollars in and still can't run for more than 15 minutes without getting hot. So men keep things they've invested their time into a lot longer than a woman will. But for these types of conversations, it's really important to have that information because if you're going to ask the question, you also have to be willing to give the information to get an honest answer. For example, if your boyfriend told you, or you asked your boyfriend says, hey, how can I get better at sex? You can't tell that man. He can't be mad when you say, well, you got to grow about 4 inches. We need you to take 15 more minutes before you know it's over for you. He can't get mad when you tell him those things.
But we can't really tell my man that either.
Yes, you can in English. Like if he asks you the question.
I mean, yeah, you can, but like
yes, you can tell us that. Yes, you can. Yes, you can tell us, babe. I don't like when you
saying something you like this, saying that you're too little.
Exactly.
I mean, if you have a relationship where you are communicating on a consistent basis, you trust each other, you love each other. Or I just would think that you would be able to have an honest conversation without being rude or condescending or tearing the person down. And
you just got to be creative and nice and say, "Hey, bro, it's small." Like that's on you to figure that out.
But that he can't fix that. So why say that? Like he can't fix that.
I think it would just be that you would have to focus on. You would have to focus on other areas in order to experience physical pleasure. Size is not the only way to fulfill that. I think it's just about, okay, if that's lacking, what are other ways in which we can experience pleasure together? And if you're in a committed relationship where you're trying to stay long-term with that person, okay, well, what are ways of doing that? How is he with his hands? How is he with his mouth? If you have that relationship where you trust each other, can go there and explore your sexuality or your, sexual pleasures with each other. That's what the focus should be, not on, well, this is lacking, this is lacking, this is lacking. How about let's be proactive? Okay, well, what can we try? What can we do?
Part of that being proactive is what's lacking too. Because now what happens if the man only wants to use toy? Like I'm not trying to no disrespect to any man, but we all know that our anatomy comes in a plethora of sizes and capabilities. Mm-hmm. But what we also should know is that if you know, and y'all both knew from the first time y'all did it, if his was too small for you or hers was too big for you, bro. And that's when you guys are going to have that very uncomfortable conversation. Like, hey, so there's this rose, right? Or, hey, gorgeous, there's these Benoit balls or Kegels that you can do, because at the end of the day, you don't have time to be sitting here worried about hurting someone's feelings. Like, imagine you fall in love with someone, and then he tell you that he has he's very inadequate. He's 6-7 inches shorter than what you're used to. Imagine you fell in love with this guy now, all because you wouldn't have the conversation that y'all needed to have. Like that, you setting yourself up for failure. So in this case, which makes me my second point, Yancy, was, does he get mad when she self-pleases? That's other information that we need to have. Because if he's not initiating, then he loses all right to tell her, like, hey, put that rose down. Or he can't do her trying to cut her table so she can't use it while he's at work. Like, he doesn't have that option anymore. Because if he's not giving her what she wants, at least she's only getting it from a toy instead of Troy.
Yeah, but a toy shouldn't be replacing my man. Like, period.
Exactly.
Like, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I think there's a large community of women who disagree with you.
I think the gentleman.
I'm a man. I don't want a toy.
You know the interesting thing about what's going on right now? Men are every man on the panel saying that you can tell us, you can communicate with us, and the women are like, no, we can't do that. Every man sat here and was like, you can tell us we suck. If we're trash, tell us. Let's have a conversation. But y'all keep saying we can't do that. Yeah, it's going to hurt y'all ego. Women care about a man's ego more than we care about our ego.
I
Y'all
can say from my experience, giving feedback to a guy,
not like how you do it. That's how. I mean, that's what I'm. Yeah, that's how.
I think delivery matters. That's all I will say. How you say
egos. I hear you guys saying that, but from my personal, and I'm not even talking about intimacy. I have found that men get really hurt when they, like, even if it's a gift and they're trying to do right by you and you don't get the reaction. I have consistently seen men get hurt. My dad got my mom flowers years before I was even born. And my mom made a comment about the fact that flowers die and, whatever. Never bought her flowers again. Because there are some men. So I get, maybe all of you just have really strong egos, but there are a lot of men who really it's like they get defeated if they get negative feedback. It's like, I can't do anything.
They're not used to receiving negative feedback. We've been getting negative feedback from the time we were little.
Right, but isn't there a
negative
difference between getting feedback from like the outside world versus your woman, where you're in a more
good point.
No, we don't care about that.
No,
we want your feedback at all costs.
We want your feedback.
So what if the feedback is something that you cannot physically change? Like
you can change that.
What?
Yes.
Oh my God!
The average person is not going under the knife to
right. Again, I think it's just about trying to work with it.
You don't have to go under the knife though. The African remedies,
Like, so no, I'm serious. Like,
look,
you made a
Plant-based.
they got extensions.
That there is a difference between the outside world and our woman. And you know whose opinion we care about? Our women's. The outside world tells us it's okay to tell men they're too short. We did it tonight. It's okay to tell men they don't make enough money. Everyone does it every day. It's in every rap song. It's okay to tell men where they don't measure up. So why would it be different for the woman that we care about, who also cares about us enough to give us that same "you don't add up" in a caring way that the world never will?
So I think it depends on whether he is used to getting feedback, because again, sex is a very
doesn't depend on anything. Telling me trash.
That is all. If you tell
in this scenario,
I love you, everything about you, you float my boat, you cook good, you do everything better, I love it, you do everything for me, but I am used to larger men. Would you be opposed to doing something else to bridge the gap that you don't feel? It's up to you to figure out how to deliver that message, because you're the one who wants to be sexually satisfied. So if you can't have that conversation with your man, that's not really a him thing, that's a you thing.
So I'm going to bring it back to the conversation. Sorry, just because we're over 10 minutes. You guys vote in the comments, because I'm going to go by the majority. If we're going to do an extra 15, keep going, type keep going, part 2, type part 2. Because we can just save the third topic for next week. Obviously, we're not going to get to it tonight, but we can continue this conversation and get to part 3 tomorrow. Comment part 2 if you want part 2. But I just want to say this in closing. If we're bringing it back to the question that was submitted, shout out to the lady who submitted the question. Her guy should say something if he's not satisfied. The reason why I want to take away all those possible options is because I would like to look at a scenario where possibly he is satisfied, and the only thing is that he just doesn't have as much of a drive, because I do think that that is possible for people to just not want it the same amount. Same thing if you flip it. If a guy wants it more than his lady, I don't necessarily think it's because she's not satisfied. It could be because she's tired, or she's, you know, dealing with the kids, or whatever the case may be. So I'm looking for the comments. I see like 2 keep goings and a couple of part 2s. I'm actually going to wrap here because it's just harder when the videos are super long. You guys were amazing. I hope all of you guys can come back. Did you guys like the panel today? Really enjoyed it. I loved how interactive you guys were in the comments. It makes it so much fun. I promise you, I'm going to have way more things that we talk about. I love the fact that everybody can be respectful. I love that we have different opinions. I never want a bunch of talking heads where we're all agreeing. So I love this. I really want to continue to be like one of the only shows out here on YouTube where we're not at each other's throats and having to be sensational that way. So golf clap for you guys for being interesting without being divisive and disrespectful. You guys, we're going to wrap there. I'm going to, by the way, I'm going to send you guys to the room. If you guys want to say goodnight, you can. I always feel rude just like sending you guys to the back room. But we got a few more minutes before we go. I want to say this, ladies, if you want to get my latest class that is coming out on the 29th, this is about the 10 things you absolutely need to have in a relationship. These are characteristics that are going to get you through difficult times. Relationships are hard, okay? But if you have these 10 things, you can get through a lot. There's no reason to be burnt out, stressed out, going through all this other stuff. It's just not necessary. So if you want to know the top 10 characteristics that you should look for in a partner, these are not trivial things, then go ahead and DM me the word "don't settle." My class is called Don't Settle Sis. I should have put the graphic up, but I forgot. That is happening on the 29th. That is the last Wednesday of this month. So mark your calendars. If you are not able to attend in person, the replay will be available the next day. I send it out. Willie is out of control tonight. He said he can only send 84 because his limit was 500. You are out of control. Thank you so much, Willie. Seriously, it is an act of faith doing this every single month, and paying for all the different things that I have to pay for to keep this going, but it is worth it. So huge shout out to you, Willie. I really, really appreciate it. If you guys are not following me on Instagram, make sure you follow me on Instagram. Make sure you participate in the stories, because that's where I get a lot of my information from. If you guys participate in the stories. And make sure you're back here next Tuesday at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. All right, guys, that is it for me. I will see you next time. And make sure, she said, is it next Tuesday? Yeah, that's so cute. Make sure you guys tune in Thursday. So don't worry, you only have to wait 2 days. But on Instagram, there's the live stream there. I need singles for my show. So if you're single, you got a couple days to get cute. DM me if you want to be considered as a single. And DM me on Instagram. All right, guys, go back after the fact and drop some hearts. Drop some comments and hit like and share this video with as many people as you can and show support on Instagram. All right, guys, have a good night. I will talk to you later.